Sarawak aims to be a regional energy powerhouse as EB to incorporate solar energy by 2030 and Australia opens its international borders. Those are our headlines for tonight. Hello everyone, I'm Nicholas Elliott and this is TVS Nightline. Sarawak aims to be the regional energy powerhouse and becoming the battery for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN. Chief Minister Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said once the Borneo grid materializes, Sarawak is able to provide the region with affordable, reliable and renewable energy.
Since 2016, we have been exporting predominantly renewable electricity to West Kalimantan, and in the near future, we will commence power export to Sabah and eventually aim to materialize the Borneo grid and become the battery of ASEAN.
Abang Johari was speaking during the launch of Sarawak Energy Centenary Town Hall, 100 years of powering Sarawak at Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching on Monday. He added, sustainability is one of the state's core development goals, and all those involved must make sure to maximize the positive impact and minimize the negative impact of everything they do. To this end, the Chief Minister said Sarawak had rolled out various sustainability measures, such as the Green Energy Agenda, Low Carbon Economy, Hydrogen Economy, and Digital Economy.
I am especially proud of our achievements in our hydrogen journey, though it is only a start. While there were reservations in the beginning, today we are seeing great progress in this area, and the people of Sarawak are more familiar with hydrogen as an energy source.
Meanwhile, Abang Johari said the gap between urban and rural communities has been minimized through the Accelerated Rural Electrification Master Plan in collaboration with Ministry for Utility and Telecommunication and Sarawak Energy. He noted that in 2009, rural electrification rate was only at 56% compared to 97% rural electrification today. Celebrating its centenary on Monday, Sarawak Energy Berhad or SEB plans to amplify its clean and renewable energy by incorporating 5% solar energy into its generation mix by 2030, embarking on its first floating solar farm at the 108-megawatt Batang Ai hydroelectric plant, leveraging on the reservoir's existing body of water.
Renewable energy will continue to be an important capital for sustainable energy future, and we aim to increase the share of renewable and alternative energy in our generation mix. By 2030, we plan to add about 5% of solar energy into our generation mix. The 1,285 Baleh hydroelectric project is progressing and is expected to come on stream by 2027.
Speaking at Sarawak Energy Centenary Town Hall at Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching on Monday.
Once commissioned, the 50-megawatt solar farm will offset about 52 kilotons of carbon emissions annually, further decarbonizing Sarawak's power system.
He pointed out SEB is almost achieving its target of full electrification of Sarawak by 2025, adding that it now provides electricity to over 740,000 accounts and serving a population of almost 3 million people in Sarawak, including Indonesia.
Now, rural folks have been urged to avoid hunting for wild boars for the time being in efforts to curb the spread of the African swine fever. Although the meat of the affected animal was safe to eat, kitchen leftovers, if fed to the domestic pigs, would be affected. Uga said the virus was found to be spread in Kapit and Limbang from the cross borders between Sarawak and Kalimantan, advising those with infected livestock to take all precautions to keep them safe. The Minister for Infrastructure and Ports Development said this after officiating the Parti Pusaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB Kubal Ulu Sub-Branch Triennial Delegates Meeting at Rumah Mendit Unsu in Penom, Ulupaku in Spau on Sunday. On another development, UGA urged for more youth participation to venture into agriculture for high income. The Bukit Saban Assemblyman also said all grassroots leaders should not shy away from giving feedback to their elected representatives on the people's expectations for development programs and welfare assistance. Now, the Citra Warna Keluarga Malaysia 2022 will proceed with stricter SOP. The National Security Council NSC will announce a more detailed SOP regarding the organization of the event. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said she would meet again with the NSC as several SOPs would be amended.
Akan ditutup, tetapi kemah kita banyak. So we fill up all the 7 kemah. At least one is the orang yang dijemput lah. Because kita ada ambassador semua tu kan. Ada menteri, ada yang pegawai kerajaan juga. So yang lain tu selagi ada kosong, ruang kosong diisi sehingga 350 orang.
She said that the decision to continue with the organisation taking into the consideration of economic impact towards tourism sector. What is needed at the moment is the cooperation from the community in terms of SOP compliance.
Jadi sebab itu kami mengambil jalan tengah untuk mengetatkan lagi SOP dengan bantuan kerajaan negeri, agensi-agensinya.
To honour the contribution rendered by women in the state in academic research, the state government intends to publish a yearly book compiling the scholars' written paper. Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah said this is part of the state government's effort to recognise their work as part of the State Women's Day celebration.
So, inshallah, we will keep the tradition of producing one book or a book every year in conjunction with our Hari Wanita celebration, because there's a lot to celebrate and there are a lot of women of substance in Sarawak whom we should highlight. Not only their personality, they as a person, but also their work and contribution to the betterment of the community and to the betterment of Sarawak as well as Malaysia.
Earlier, Fatimah was speaking at the launch of Sarawak Women in Scholarly Writing in conjunction with Sarawak Women Day on Monday. Fatimah hopes that young researchers in the state can gain new knowledge from their seniors in producing quality works that would benefit the state's development. Meanwhile, UNIMAS Associate Professor Dr. Madeline Burma said the publication is the first in Sarawak.
Sebab wanita ini sering digambarkan dalam media-media seperti majalah dalam bentuk yang stereotip, sepertinya mungkin fashion, masak dan sebagainya. Tapi kali ini orang boleh melihat bahawa wanita bukan saja boleh hebat dalam bidang-bidang yang tradisional yang seperti tadi ataupun yang arus perdana lah. Maksudnya fashion, masak-memasak. Tapi sekarang rupanya ada wanita yang penyelidikannya hebat-hebat sekali yang menyumbang kepada pembangunan negeri Sarawak.
Dr. Madeline Burma is among the 51 women researchers featured in the book.
The Kuching Police Headquarters had compounded a total of over 5 million ringgit since July 2021 up till February of this year under the OPS COVID-19 SOP compliance monitoring of the MCO and the National Recovery Phase 1 to 4. For the record, Phase 1 of the NRP recorded the highest compound at 1,168 with worth of 2.2 million ringgit. Kuching District Police Chief ACP Ashman Baja says the proactive action by his team had instilled public awareness on SOP compliance.
Kita juga tuan-tuan jangan lupa masih ada lagi tanggungjawab kita untuk memastikan kita bersama-sama dengan unsur pimpinan di peringkat negeri yang bersangkutan untuk memerangi pandemik COVID-19. Walaupun kita mempunyai kejayaan yang sangat signifikan daripada fasa 1 hingga fasa 4, jumlah compound yang telah kita keluarkan untuk pelbagai kategori kesalahan sebanyak 2.892 dengan nilai 5.3 juta. Itu menunjukkan tanggung jawab yang cukup besar yang kita perlu laksanakan.
He said this during the Kuching Police Headquarters monthly assembly on Monday. Meanwhile, for the Citrawana Keluarga Malaysia program, which will be held for the first time in Kuching on 24th to 27 February, the Kuching IPD is ever ready to implement a careful and strict monitoring of the COVID-19 SOP compliance. Looking at the latest developments of the COVID-19 cases in Malaysia, Ashman said there are several agencies involved to provide assistance in the event of any emergency.
Rancangan rapi macam mana pun, kalau kita tiada integriti, bukan semata-mata integriti berkaitan dengan rasuah, tetapi bercakap dari segi jati diri, itu adalah salah satu elemen integriti. Jati diri kalau ditransform, diterjemahkan dalam ayat yang mudah, yang paling senang untuk kita kalau kita bekerja, kecepatan masa kita untuk bekerja, itu adalah satu elemen dalam integriti. Kalau kita menguruskan masa sendiri pun tidak tepat, kita merancang masa kita pun tidak teratur, bagaimana kita untuk melaksanakan perancangan yang lebih besar, dasar-dasar yang ditengahkan oleh kerajaan. Kalau kita tidak integriti, tidak jati diri dalam diri kita masing-masing.
In the same development, Ashman reminded his team to uphold integrity in their line of duty.
A total of 27 individuals aged 19 to 49 since 17 February were ordered to undergo treatment and rehabilitation at Kuching Puspen by the Miri's Magistrates Court. The treatment and rehabilitation was ruled under Section 6(1)(a) of the Drug Addicts Treatment and Rehabilitation Act 1993 after taking into account the reports and recommendation of rehab officers as well as public safety factors.
All cases were investigated by the Miri District National Anti-Drugs Agency, AADK. In the resolution action, Sharp Complaint and Impact, the Miri District MIDS One-Stop Committee, OSC, Miri District National Anti-Drugs Agency, AADK, has arrested a total of 22 individuals aged 20 to 45 years old. Early screening tests found all of them were positive for methamphetamine and were detained under Section 3 of the Drug Addicts Treatment and Rehabilitation Act 1983.
Back to TVS Nightline. Now, the Semara Niaga Keluarga Malaysia program would complement the government's efforts through the financial sector in providing financing facilities and loan repayment assistance. The 40 billion ringgit allocation would increase financing access to business sector, especially for micro, small and medium enterprises and the informal sector.
Ismail Sabri said the program, which comprised direct loans, financing guarantees and equity injections, would benefit every group of entrepreneurs.
Bagi perniagaan mikro dan kecil, kerajaan peka di atas keperluan akses kepada pembiayaan dengan kadar faedah yang rendah. Dalam perkara ini, skim pembiayaan informal dan mikro atau SPIM akan menawarkan pinjaman sehingga RM10,000 pada kadar faedah 0% dengan keutamaan diberi kepada peniaga sektor informal. Saiz dana untuk program ini sahaja berjumlah RM200 juta.
For agri-food entrepreneurs, the microcredit scheme by Agrobank will offer loans of up to 75,000 ringgit at a 0% rate for the first 6 months, with a moratorium facility for up to 6 months.
Bagi perniagaan yang lebih matang, institusi kewangan seperti SME Bank akan menawarkan pinjaman sehingga RM10 juta di bawah skim IBS Promotion Fund 2.0 dan RM1 juta di bawah program pembiayaan usahawan muda 2.0 atau YEF 2.0.
The Ministry of Education today launched the Sekolahku Sejahtera concept, which aims to inculcate 14 life value elements in students during the teaching and learning sessions when school reopen for the next season. Senior Education Minister Dr. Razi Jidin said the concept will be taught from preschool level up to secondary school level.
The 14 elements in Sekolahku Sejahtera are safe, happy, healthy, ethical, empathy, self-actualization, respectful, harmonious, diligent, meticulous, skillful, exploratory, rational and articulate.
Apa yang kita ingin laksanakan dalam konsep ini, dalam konteks ini adalah untuk memastikan supaya guru-guru menerapkan konsep ini secara semula jadi dalam pengajaran dan pembelajaran mereka secara alami. Maknanya sekiranya guru ini mengajar mata pelajaran sejarah sebagai contoh, ada perkara-perkara yang dalam topik yang diajarkan itu berkait rapat dengan mana-mana konsep yang ada dalam 14 elemen tadi.
The Sekolahku Sejahtera concept is based on the principles and desire to create a school environment that is safe, peaceful, comfortable, enjoyable, constructive and inclusive towards achieving social well-being. Razi said the emphasis on the 14 elements of value did not mean that other elements in life would be pushed aside, adding that the focus is on key concepts to produce a generation that can compete at the world level.
In the same development, the Ministry of Education has yet to decide on the implementation of the Form 3 assessment or PD3 examination for the 2022 calendar. Senior Education Minister Dr. Razi Jidin said the ministry is looking into the most suitable approach by taking into account the students' level of mastery from the ongoing 2021 school session.
A statement posted on the Malaysian Examination Board LPM Facebook page claimed that the PD3 examination for the 2022 session will be held from October to November. However, the post has since been deleted. Meanwhile, Razi said the MOE is studying a holistic approach to address the issue of heavy bags in school. He added the ministry had identified several causes, including the number of subjects, thick textbooks, and students bringing extra books.
Ini kita sedang meneliti untuk melihat kadang-kadang ada kekangan dalam konteks guru. Dia nak kurangkan mata pelajaran sehari, tetapi ada kekurangan dalam konteks guru berdasarkan option mata pelajaran dan sebagainya. So, perkara ini kita sedang teliti satu persatu. Itu perkara pertama yang kita sedang lihat. Yang kedua juga kita lihat kadang-kadang anak-anak ini banyak membawa buku-buku yang dibeli dari luar sana. Jadi ini pun kita telah bincang macam mana nak selesaikan, kerana ini dah jadi sebahagian daripada cara. Ya. Ada yang bawa sampai 2-3 buku latihan.
He added the ministry is also looking into the use of lockers in school, especially for schools with 2 sessions. Registration under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Children, or PICKITS, has now exceeded 1 million. The figure represents 28% of children aged between 5 and 11 sign up for the vaccination.
In a Twitter post today, Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin hoped that parents will not assume a wait-and-see attitude on registering their children for COVID vaccination. According to Khairi, the highest PICKITS registration as of February 20th were in Kuala Lumpur, Penang and Putrajaya. As of Sunday, more than 500,000 individuals, or 14.5% of the children population aged between 5 and 11 in the country, had received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine under the program, which began on February 3rd.
The intensive care unit ICU bed occupancy rate in hospitals in Putrajaya, Labuan and 11 other states are under 50% as of February 20th. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said that health facilities at public hospitals are able to accommodate both COVID-19 and non-COVID-19 cases.
Among the states which recorded low rate of ICU occupancy are Negeri Sembilan at 8%, Sarawak 13%, Pahang 14%, Kedah 15%, Putrajaya 17% and Terengganu 20%. He noted that in Putrajaya, there are 6 ICU beds but only 1 is in use, while for Labuan, 7 beds are available with no beds occupied. Meanwhile, the 3 states with ICU bed occupancy above 50% are Johor 70%, Kuala Lumpur 65% and Melaka 50%. Nonetheless, he assured that each state is prepared with a quick response plan if cases increase again.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, in global front, U.S. President Joe Biden has agreed in principle to hold a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss the crisis over Ukraine. The White House said that the talks proposed by France will only take place if Russia does not invade its neighbor.
The Kremlin, meanwhile, said there were no concrete plans for a summit. It is hoped that such talks could defer a possible diplomatic solution to one of the worst security crises in Europe in decades. US officials say intelligence suggests Russia is ready to launch a military operation, which Moscow denies. The proposed summit was announced by the French presidency after 2 phone calls between President Emmanuel Macron and Mr. Putin, which went on for almost 3 hours in total. The second exchange happened in the early hours of Monday Moscow time and followed a 15-minute conversation Mr. Macron had with Mr. Biden. Mr. Macron's office said details of the possible summit would be discussed during a meeting between U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Thursday. In a statement that confirmed the proposal, the White House also said Russia appeared to be continuing preparations for a full-scale assault on Ukraine very soon, and that the U.S. was ready to impose swift and severe consequences should it happen.
And down under, Australia has reopened its international border for the first time in nearly 2 years, bringing joyful family reunions and a boost to tourism. The country imposed some of the world's strictest travel bans after shutting itself off in March 2020 due to COVID-19. There were hugs and gifts of Vegemite at Australia's biggest airport on Monday as it buzzed with reunited family and friends.
Australians and some others were allowed to return from late last year, but most foreigners have had to wait. There were tearful reunions at Sydney airports on Monday as hundreds of people began arriving on flights. More than 50 international flights were set to land in the country on Monday, including 27 touching down at Sydney, the largest city. Double-jabbed visitors do not need to quarantine, but unvaccinated travellers must do so in a hotel for up to 14 days at their own expense. More than 50 international flights were due to land on Monday. Travellers can enter all states except Western Australia, which remains closed until 3rd March and will require 3 jabs.
And wrapping up TVS Nightline tonight, former US President Donald Trump launched a new social media dubbed Truth Social on Sunday. With the app available in the Apple App Store, this marks the former president's return to social media after he was banned from several platforms last year.
The app was available to download shortly before midnight local time and was automatically downloaded to user devices who had pre-ordered the app. Some users reported either having trouble registering for an account or were added to a waitlist due to overwhelming demand. The app has been available for people invited to use it during its test phase. Trump was banned from Twitter, Facebook and YouTube following the January 6, 2021 attack on the US Capitol by his supporters after he was accused of posting messages inciting violence.
And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For the latest development, head to our website TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you, and till then.